Hello, beautiful people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tell me where you are tuning in from and what you are most excited about for the woo weather of 2026. It's a lot. Let me tell you, the woo weather of 2026 is not a small amount of things. It's a lot. It's a lot. And maybe you're like, I have no idea. You're here today, Bonnie, to tell me what I should look forward to. Maybe so. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to open up this though because I realized that in my cheat sheet for today, I didn't have my out of bounds listed, and out of bounds is like seriously one of my favorite things to look at in the woo weather, and I will explain why that is so hardcore awesome for me, and maybe for you. I think we've done an out of bounds live stream, I think, in 2025. I don't know. I also have to put this on today because I'm having an EDS day. No, I don't have to declare it a whole EDS day. It can just be an EDS morning. I could be having an EDS morning, and that will be fine. And then it will pass. But sometimes my joints feel like they want to fall out of socket, so I gotta do little reinforcement things. Whatevs. I'm realizing I think I wore this exact same sweater last live stream last week because it's cold. It's cold. Have you hugged yourself today? Even if you have to do it again because it feels good. Beautiful people. It's cold in Santa Monica. How'd that happen? Get that shadow side. Because it's winter. Because it's not yet winter, but all right. So this is my cheat sheet for today. Dun, 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 dun. So that is what we are going to use to guide us through the today live stream. And my goal is to get through what it took me nearly 3 hours to get through in the webinar in under an hour in this live stream. Is it going to happen? Don't know. Are we here to find out? Yes, we are. I've seriously just placed this. I don't know. I don't know if that eye line is going to be great, but it is what it is. Oh, I know. I could move this. Move this. That'll help that eye line a little bit. That'll help that eye line just a little bit. Ooh, just a little bit. All right. I'm so glad you're excited, Holly. I am too. Good day from Victoria. So good to see you, Carla. Looking forward to working more with the moon and my lunar returns. Good. You're doing your lunar return homework, Holly. That makes me so happy. I love hearing from people who are already doing lunar return homework, or gearing up to do lunar return homework and feeling good about that. It makes me so filled with joy. I always do my lunar return homework, and I do not just lunar degree and sign, but also lunar phase. And that's a next level layer that we can put on after you've gotten a muscle for doing the lunar degree sign return. Fabulous. Great news. I'm feeling so many shifts, excited to embrace my recent Lilith return during my personal 7-year. Okay, so Carla, finishing up your 7-year, you know numerologically that means butterfly emerges. You've been in that cocoon. You've been doing that like spiritual courage building stuff. And here comes the cocoon breaking out. Here comes the butterfly breaking out of that cocoon in your 8-year 2026. Very exciting. And it's going to be a 1 year coming up. That's right. That is correct. Then the numerology for 2026 is a 1 year collectively. Everybody gets to experience that we are in a 1 year numerologically starting January 1st, 2026. We go from the end of a 9-year cycle, which is 2025. We are in that end of closing things off, wrapping things up. My mom would call this dragging the skeletons from the closets, making sure we don't want to keep any of that nonsense around. So we're dragging it out, getting it right out on Main Street, and then getting rid of it, taking it out. Take that trash out. Yes, yes, and yes for 2025. And then that means 2026, we start in a universal 1 year. And that universal 1 year, collective 1 year, puts us in the beginning of a new 9-year cycle, which is last we were in a collective 1 year in 2017. So think about these 9-year chapters that we go through as a collective. And here we are starting into a 1 year with 2026, kind of exciting. And then, of course, you have your personal numerology, which we'll do a little chat about if we have time today. And if not, I'll do a separate live stream about your numerology. I'm so glad you loved the 2026 webinar. Let me throw down the link for the replay for anybody who missed it, because I very excitedly, happily, so proud of selfily, got the replay up at our new digs for some of our learning stuff, some of our educational curriculum parking lot. We've moved from 2 different websites to another. We've changed platforms, and we're in the midst of doing all the work of that, using the last of this Mercury retrograde shadow energy to get everything tightened up and in the new place. And so I'm so glad you enjoyed it. And for those who missed it and would like to check it out, I have now successfully brought 4 things over to the new digs. And I should say my team has successfully brought over 30 things, and I have readied for public viewing 4 of those things. So thank you, team, and thank you to everyone for your patience in that replay getting up. I will also be getting the Astrology of Activism replay that I did with Jackie and Melissa up at this same space in the coming days and weeks. So look for that. Here from Nash Vegas. Hello, Melissa. I just said your name, and there you are in the chat. You did your first one last month and loved it. Great. Love hearing that. Lilith is badass. Yes, Melissa is the queen of Lilith. If you want to know all things Lilith, go to Melissa. That is what I do. She is specializing in what this goddess is all about, and it really makes me happy to have Melissa's brilliance about Lilith in that back pocket. Finally catching me live. Lisa Allen, it is so good to see you. Hello, welcome. Yay, back in LA. Husband and I, says Holly, both going into 7 years in 2026. I realize that our birthday month and date are both the same. I'm March 3rd and he's April 2nd. So because of that, you get a 3-3, he gets a 4-2. So the 3-3 makes a 6 and the 4-2 gets a 6. And so whatever the year is, y'all are synced up. That is amazing. That is amazing, Holly. I love that you're in sync like that. My husband and I are off by a few years, and it's kind of neat because we get to see, like, one of us previews what the other one is going to be having coming up, and so that's kind of neat. But we'll do more on numerology later or in another live stream. But yes, fabulous. Love all of that, making me very happy. So we've got a lot of big woo weather. Let's dig in on it. 2026 is not small. Now, it's not as bumpy as 2025. So let's get that out of the way. 2025, cray. And in all the bonkers, bananas, shaking things up, why does it have to be so all over the place kind of ways? Being in a numerological, I know I said we're going into the astrology part and I'm still talking numerology because to me it's all the same. That being in a 9 year, it really did have to dredge up all the crap from this 9 year cycle, which started in 2017. Y'all think about that. Dredging up all of that to say, do you want to keep this anymore? Do you want to keep this anymore? Do you want to keep this anymore? How about this? Would you like to keep this anymore? Are you done with this? And it's like, oh man. There's a lot that the woo weather did in 2025 and is still doing. We're not done with it yet. But in 2026, it is a little smoother in that we get the big changes that have been trying to happen with the outers finally all the way happened. So instead of it being, okay, we're going to get a preview of some of these big moves, we're actually getting the moves moved. And that means, okay, just like, think about this. Everybody was all Pluto in 2020, 2021, 2022. And then Pluto did the move into Aquarius and then came back into Capricorn, did the finish him transit, went back into Aquarius, and then we're like, we're done talking about Pluto. We're not done talking about Pluto. Astrologically, we're definitely still talking about Pluto, but you know that it had everybody's attention while it was doing that whole, like, let me make sure y'all get what this whole Pluto in Capricorn thing was about, because it is soon to be over and not again to be lived for 250 years. So then we're going to be over here in Aquarius. Let me give you a preview and then shake back out into Capricorn to make sure you got all the notes and now here we are in Pluto, Aquarius, time, we got it, there it is. So we don't talk about it quite as much. We don't feel it quite as much. It's that back and forth that is more jostly to our systems because we don't know how to really regulate nervous system for those big outer planets moving, and they don't move often enough, like Mercury that's constantly moving, or Venus that's moving kind of like we're used to sun seasons moving. They are way more abrupt in the way they show up because they take so long to do the damn thing. So we are now done in 2026 with these big outer planet moves, and all of them happening at the same time does not usually happen because they have very different cycles. So Aquarius, Pluto, check. We already got that. That's been happening, continuing to happen. The only big news for Pluto is we have Pluto retrograde from May 6th to October 15th of 2026. So go ahead and put that on your calendar. But Pluto's not going to change signs. And Pluto is going to be out of bounds, which is my big thing that I like to look at, because out of bounds is different from retrograde. Retrograde gives us a chance to take that planet's focus and turn it inward. Take a look at the slowed down, inward focusing version of that planet. Remember the chart harmony formula. The planet is the what, the sign is the how, and the house is where it all shows up in your life. So wherever Aquarius is in your natal chart, that house is where the how, very Aquarius, very chatty, communal, collective, progressive, innovative, disruptive energy is going to happen for the what. And what is Pluto? Transformation. Burn it to the motherfucking ground and start all over again, seeing the transformation from beginning to end. But Pluto moves very slowly, will be in Aquarius for many, many years. In fact, until 2043, 44, we're going to get a preview of Pluto in Pisces in 2043 and then back. So we're going to be here a nice long time. But that retrograde turns the energy inward, makes us examine, how is this actually affecting me? Again, using that chart harmony formula of the planet is the what, the sign is the how, and the house is where it all shows up for me. What about for me interpersonally and inner personally, like inter and inner. So then there's out of bounds. Now, Pluto has not been out of bounds for like ever. It's been since the early 1950s. I want to say 1953 was the last time that Pluto was out of bounds. What is out of bounds? It's about declination. This is the kind of thing that happens that makes the eclipses happen. It means that there is a tolerance of degree, not the same degrees as the degrees and the signs of the zodiac. That's a different thing we're measuring. This is more of a drop, like along the ecliptic, all right? So like this. And there's a certain tolerance to which a planet is considered in bounds. And then there's a place where it goes out of bounds. And once a planet goes out of bounds, either above or below, it is basically showing us there are no rules for how this whole thing is going to go down. Pluto has not been out of bounds since 1953. And then in 2025, Pluto went, hey, I'm going to go out of bounds again. I'm going to go out of bounds again. I'm going to go out of bounds every year for the next little bit. And then I'm not going to be out of bounds again for another 60 or so years. Because what's happening is Pluto is eventually not going to go out of bounds anymore, because that's what happens. That over time, planets kind of do this little regulation thing and then they just stop going out of bounds. But for now, Pluto is now having an out of bounds season that is going to last several decades. And we just kicked it off in 2025 because we needed more shit to kick off in 2025. So the out of bounds dates are when Pluto behaves differently than we're used to. No rules. Well, already in Aquarius, we're like all over the place, right? But so with no rules, what does that mean for you and your specific place in your chart where Pluto is visiting? So those of you with big Aquarius placements or anything in the fixed signs, that'd be Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, you're gonna, especially in early degrees, you're going to be taking a look at how this out of bounds Pluto sets things off in your chart. Those out of bounds dates are August 11th to December 10th of 2026. So make sure that you note all of that. And yes, this replay will stay up. Those of you watching in replay, hello replay crew. So glad that you joined us as well. You can go back and get any of those dates that you need. I'm now going to take us to Neptune, because what's Neptune up to? Neptune is going to finish the move from Pisces over into Aries. We got a preview of this in 2025. Remember, I said all those outers gave us a little like, hey, you want to see what's up? And then we're going to move back out. We're going to finish the business. Right now, Neptune is finishing business in late degrees Pisces. Neptune spends 13, 14 years in a sign and will be in Aries officially starting January 26th of 2026. Right now, after retrograde, they're heading back into Aries, and once Neptune is in Aries, it's going to be there for 13 years. It's going to be there for a minute. It's going to be there until 2038, 2039, when it's going to do that same thing, give us a preview of Neptune and Taurus, and then back out to Aries, finish up business, blah, blah, blah. We know the routine. Okay, so Neptune, what? The Neptune what is I tell stories, I tell lies, I am medicine, I am drugs, I am addiction. I am the what of what kinds of different dimensions and worlds do we even want to have our stories be about? Neptune is the liar planet, the actor planet. It's why medicine and acting goes in the same category, is because we're going to take what is real and tell you a story that is different and make it feel real. So that's whether it's I have a headache and I'm going to take a pill. Neptune, going to put that pill in my system. The system's going to go, you have no headache now. It's a lie. I'm going to go see a movie. These actors are going to play roles that they are not actually those humans. And I'm going to believe it because I'm suspending disbelief while I'm seeing the movie. Big Neptune energy. Moving from Pisces to Aries is a reset of the whole zodiac, because as we know, Pisces is the last sign, Aries is the first sign. This is a big deal. This is not just changing signs. This is resetting at the world point, and I'm going to have a moment on that in just a sec. But for right now, look at how Pisces time for Neptune, which started in 2011, is now closing all up, and as of January 26th of 2026, we will be in a whole new story of Neptune in Aries, and that will be until 2038, 2039. Retrograde dates for your but I didn't do the how. So sorry, Pisces is the how of that what. So Pisces currently, it's moodiness, it's escapism also, so double up on that Neptune energy, but it's also sensitivity. It's that ability to know all things, that just pure full on psychic vibe, that energy of creating music and art, all of that being revolutionized. This is, if you think about a lot of the changes in AI and that sort of stuff, about how there's a top charting recording artist that's AI. There's an actor who's AI that has been signed by an agency. There was a bidding war for what agency she was going to go with. Y'all, seriously. Yeah, bye. I'm in. I got it. I see it. And as this moves into Aries, we're going to see how the how changes into something that is way, way, way more individualistic, way more let's go find out and let's charge forward without a lot of information gathering first. Any Aries will tell you, why would I gather information before I act? Acting is what gets me the information that I need. That energy around this Neptune what is a big how of, woo, this could be a thing. So the Aries part of your chart is about to get this visit from Neptune, and it'll be there for that 13 years or so. The retrograde dates for when that energy is going to be turned more inward in your Aries house. If we're using whole sign houses, it is in fact the same. The Aries sign is the Aries house if you're using whole signs. If not, if you're using Placidus or some other quadrant based system for your houses, it's fine. But you'll just know that as Aries brings that Neptune energy into it, we're going to see that area of our lives, especially during retrograde, really focus in on how does that change me, because Aries as an individual is going to, in your own chart, going to be you, even though it may be in a place in your chart that is representing other people in terms of house setting. So the retrograde dates are July 7th to December 12th of 2026, and the out of bounds dates, because I love my out of bounds dates, are never, because Neptune has finished doing out of bounds. Remember I said Pluto is doing it less and less often, or doing it for a certain number of years and then going a longer period of time between out of bounds. Neptune is done with its cycle. No more out of bounds for Neptune. No more out of bounds for Uranus either, and that's the next planet we're looking at. So we're moving from the outers inward. And so next there's Uranus. Uranus been disrupting for a long time. Uranus is what is I disrupt. Uranus is what is I am a housewife. Y'all are having a nice little party here. This dinner looks great, but I got to flip some tables because I gotta create some freedom. Uranus is all about how we get freed up from whatever system is here in front of us and that we're having to deal with. So Uranus has been in Taurus since 2018. Uranus will finish being in Taurus right now, retrograding back into Taurus. Uranus will finish this Taurus experience for another 84 years, because that's how long it takes Uranus to get around. So it was 250, 249 for Pluto, that many years to go all the way around, 165 for Neptune, and now we're moving inward, Uranus 84. So we actually will probably experience Uranus back in the sign it was in when we were born. We will go like, oh, right. Like when we're in our latest years, we'll go, that's what that was like at the, beginning of my preteen years. We may be able to pull on some of that memory. So Uranus in Taurus has been really shaking up physical things, manifested things, weather, land, borders, food, the way we do food, disruptions to crops and what we grow and how we treat our planet and our environment. Yes, yes, check, yes, yes, and check. Moving into Gemini, y'all know, because I've done a whole live stream on Uranus in Gemini, and I will link it in the description after this live stream, because it is a whole thing. Uranus in Gemini has a very interesting pattern. And if you have read or seen the book, The Fourth Turning, there is a big parallel to this, and the fourth turning of generations that get to a point in the generational shift that will have to go through a point of crisis before basically collapsing and beginning a new set of four turnings. Well, that is Uranus in Gemini. The Uranus in Gemini pattern is very war-based. There's no other way to say it. You can just look at the dates that Uranus has been in Gemini and see that pattern and know that it is in fact pretty jostly as far as how we humans have that experience. Gemini is an air sign. It's very active. It's very chatty. It's very, I'm not sure if I want to be over here or over there. Let me see what else is available. Let me see what else might interest me, right? And Uranus is already coming in going, let's see what I can shake up. So we've got shaking up as the what, and we've got shaking up as the how. Whatever house that is in your chart, get ready. It's about to be disrupted in a whole new way. And Uranus will be in Gemini through 2032, 2033. Stays in each sign about 7 years. So this is a retrograde situation. Let's see. Are we currently retrograde? Yes. We're currently in Uranus retrograde and will be until February 3rd of 2026. So we're still moving into, let's actually show y'all on this chart wheel for a sec. Here's our current woo weather of the nowness. We are looking at, where's Uranus? Over here. There's Uranus right there. Uranus at 28 degrees 58 minutes Taurus retrograde. You can tell because it's red in this app. That is how we denote retrograde in Astro Gold, is by the red event there. So we've got, oh, this exalted moon, yummy. That's why I want to sleep and eat ice cream. Yes, exalted moon in Taurus. Okay, don't get distracted, Gillespie. Uranus in Taurus, retrograde, heading back toward the degree of fixed star algal. And I talked about that in the webinar. So I will leave that to be a nice little Easter egg for you there if you go and check out my webinar on the year ahead woo weather. But until the, what was the date? There it is. Until February 3rd of 2026, we've got Uranus retrograde. And then we'll be in Gemini in April 25th. So we've got a nice long time here for the last part of 2025 into the first 4 months of 2026 of Uranus finishing up what was started in 2018 in Taurus. So that's the part to remember. Oh, and good. I'm glad I'm showing my screen because I can show you the dates. This is from my slideshow during the webinar. And I'm not going through my slides again for a live stream. I just have it referenced here to help me remember my out of bounds dates, but I'm not putting them on the screen for the whole shebang because that'll make me take way longer with this speed through that we're doing today. So if you want to see all the slides for all the things, you want to go check out that webinar at learn.bonniegillespie.com. Check it out. Whoop whoop. But look at these dates. Last in Gemini from 1941 to 1949, 1858 to 1866, and 1774 to 1782, and before that the 1690s, and before that, you get the drift, right? Yeah. Okay, so with all of that in mind, Uranus is going to be doing some things. Out of bounds dates? No, I don't think we have any. No, we don't. But the retrograde dates for Uranus in Gemini will be September 10th to then February 8th of 2027. So we don't have Uranus retrograde until later in 2026 in Gemini, but we already have Uranus retrograde as we start 2026 because they're still doing the visit to Taurus and finishing up things there. Okay, before I leave, or as I leave the outers and move into the social planets, which are Daddy Saturn and Taurus, and a little visit to Chiron, I would like to check on y'all. So let me just do a quick look over here at the chatty chat and see if there's anything that y'all have questions about. You'll be in a 3-year, Lisa, in 2026, and you're a life path, let's see, your life path 4. So you do angel numbers, so you've got a 22, but so that's you're born a 4, which is you're gonna make it work. You're gonna put in work, roll up the sleeves, get things done, bring that Taurus energy to everything, manifesting, making things work and making things happen. And in a 3-year, so that's cool because that means in 2027 you will be in sort of a like a numerological return. That should feel really yummy. I don't know about that via angel numbers. The double number, because that I don't do that kind of numerology, but I'm wondering if 2027 will also be a 22 or if it's just a 4. But that's for you when you're doing your numerology of the year. Fun, cool, I love it. I love it. 2017 was the worst year of my life. I'm thankful to be out of that cycle. Yeah, Melissa, 2017 as a 1 numerologically and starting off the 9-year cycle that is closing in 2025, it's really easy for me to see why 2025 is such a dick in the dirt for a lot of people, because 2017 started so much of this story. I can think of some stories I'd like to end. I'd like to see some things that started in 2017 be like officially, oh yeah, over right now. That'd be great. Could we do that now, please? Yeah. That would actually make me quite happy. I'm thinking of a couple of things that would work nice for me to see done. You know, just saying. Rain, you made it. I'm so glad you did. Thank you for joining us, sweetheart. Rising Aquarius, Holly. Woo! Pluto in your first house for 40, 30, 20, for 20 years. What is time? You will be a completely different human by the time Pluto has crossed your ascendant. Whew, 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 whew. Goodness gracious. Carla, you sent something and it's gone. I don't know what you said. Larima, I'm glad you made it too. Wow. Okay, I don't see questions. Unless, Carla, if you want to restate your question, I'm here and can see it now. 2017 was the start for my current income stream, planning to continue, and it has seen many tweaks. Great. So Carla, I'm going to ask you, since you really saw the start of that trend in 2017 and you want to keep that going, let's say this new 9-year cycle is going to take that to a new level. You are ready to bring to a different octave or a different tier that thing that was started in 2017, that you're okay with closing the books on what started in 2017 for that level. And now you're ready to level up. Yep. I love it. Let's do that. Let's do it. Indeed. Okay, right. Let's get back at it. So, let's move to, let's see, Aquarius, 8th house. Do you want to keep it going because it's so needed for women? Honey, yes. Honey, yes. You know I am so with you on all of that. We can absolutely manifest that for you. We're in our social planets now. Daddy Saturn. All right, so this is where it gets really interesting. Daddy Saturn only takes 2.5 years, 2.25 years, 2 3/4 years, depending on when. Daddy Saturn spends a little time in each sign. It's a chapter of our lives. We talk about the Saturn return, which happens every 27 to 29 years, depending on where it hits in your chart. But the Saturn return happens when we are in our late 20s. It happens again when we're in our late 50s. It happens again when we're in our mid 80s. The Saturn return is quite a thing. It is, I'm going to square you by the shoulders and I'm going to shake you a little bit and I'm going to say, are you doing what you said you came here to do? And that what you said you came here to do part is really important where Daddy Saturn is concerned. The reason I call him Daddy is because he's a taskmaster. He's gonna like I don't want to hear any of the excuses. I don't want to know why anything happened differently than you thought it would. I just need to know, bottom line, are you doing what you said you would do? Are you taking responsibility for all the things that you should be responsible for? Should is a big Saturn word. When you hear yourself using should, that's Daddy Saturn trying to speak to you a little bit. So Daddy Saturn's been in Pisces since early 2023. And in Pisces, Daddy Saturn had a lot to do because Pisces is the place in our lives where we are more loosey-goosey and chill and, oh, do I have to keep up with time? Is it really necessary for me to have a schedule? I mean, isn't sleep a system? Isn't wake and bake a schedule? And Daddy Saturn comes in and says, I'm going to need you to actually have some structure. We're going to get you a bullet journal and we are going to create a plan. And Pisces is like, I don't know where my pants are. I'm not sure how we're going to keep up with a plan, but I'm game. Let's go for it. Let's try. And wherever Daddy Saturn has been since early 2023 in your life, he's been doing a lot of work. He's now going to move over to Aries. So the work that Daddy Saturn was doing in Pisces will be finished as of February 13th, 2026. And Daddy Saturn then moves into Aries for the official 3-year, 2.5-year period that tells us what that experience is going to be like. Okay. And so if we want to take a look at how Daddy Saturn does Aries, we just go back to the last time he was there, and Saturn moves quickly enough that we could probably do that depending on how old we are as we're having this conversation. But the last time Daddy Saturn was in Aries was 1996 to 1999. Now, I was working for the Olympics in 1996. I was the instructional technology or the IT director of Sanford Stadium, which was the women's soccer stadium venue for the Olympics of 1996. So I was in Athens, not Atlanta. But the Atlanta Olympics, or Atlanta was the host of the Olympics in 1996. And the big feature of 1996 for my memory is, not only being in grad school and working at the radio station and all the things that were going on there, but the Olympic Centennial Park bombing and things that were, when I think of Aries, quite explosive, quite like, where did that come from? That is big Aries energy. And I want you to consider, when you're looking at 1996 to 1999 in your life, where was structure brought to the stuff of acting before you even really have a plan? Because Aries is not a place that Saturn does well in, typically, because Daddy Saturn likes to have a plan, and Aries, unlike Pisces that says, oh, I'm open, we could try to have a plan, I just don't know where I would put it. Aries is like, before you can even say the word plan, Aries has already popped off and moved to do the thing. And so it can be a little problematic for Saturn to be in Aries because their energies are so different. Daddy Saturn says slow things down. Let's look at the structure. Let's look at the system. Let's look at the plan and then take action. And Aries is like, I really don't know what any of that is. I figure out what I want to do by doing and then maybe looking back at what I did. Maybe. So this energy, if you're hearing a pattern in some of these situations of now all these planets moving into air and fire signs. Yep, you got it. It's pretty interesting. Let's go back over here to my screen for a sec and let's take a look at when we're talking about these signs that are with Aquarius over here, an air sign. That is considered an active or a masculine in old-timey astrology sense. It is an active sign. So Pluto in an active sign means we're going to be moving a lot more. We're going to be like doing that whole moving frenetic energy of Aquarius, and that Pluto tower card, burn it to the ground kind of stuff is going to be there. Already has been there. Then we get Neptune and Daddy Saturn moving into Aries, and Aries is a fire sign. Pop it off. Let's, the whole fuck around and find out, except Aries doesn't even stick around to find out. So it's just fuck around, like just the finding out. That's for some other sign. But of course it is for Daddy Saturn because Daddy Saturn moves slow, as does Neptune, both of those slow, but different speeds. Obviously we have that whole Aries fire burst, active, again, assertive energy. And then Uranus moving into Gemini, which is another air sign. And so we've got air, fire, air for all of those outers and the farthest out of the social planets. That is a lot of big energy in places that are assertive and active, and we're going to move forward with the stuff. And we've been in this reality of all of these planets hanging out in the more passive, receptive, let's wait and see what happens kind of vibe. So this can be really exciting that everything's moving into a more active space. It could also be like the world is already moving so freaking fast. I'm already like, can I take a breather for a sec? Nope. We're done with breathers. We're done with breathers. We do have a little breather coming up. But this is also interesting because Jupiter, which is the planet that I will be doing next, Jupiter will be moving into Leo, which is another fire sign. That's not going to happen until halfway through 2026. But Jupiter moving into Leo means we're going to have everything out there from Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, and Jupiter, all in active, assertive, forward-moving, masculine signs simultaneously. What the actual are we going to do with that? We're going to find out. We're all going to find out. That's okay. We're in this together. Saturn retrograde dates for 2026. Ready? July 26th to December 10th. Okay? No out of bounds for Daddy Saturn. He doesn't do that anymore. He's done. He's done with that part of his life. And then let's go to Jupiter, as I mentioned previously, just a moment ago. Jupiter moves into Leo in 2026. Now, this doesn't happen until June 25th. We got a whole first half of 2026 with Jupiter in exalted Cancer, which is where he's been since June of 2025. Jupiter in Cancer is delicious. Jupiter in Cancer is the Beyonce placement, that sign of exaltation. I have a live stream all about the Beyonce placements and the planets moving into signs of their exaltation, essential dignities, and I'll link to that in the description later when I do time code for this replay crew. Yeah, I got you on that. I'll put that link in the description. But the Beyonce placement just means the planet loves being in this sign because this sign takes care of everything that this planet needs. And so here we go with this Jupiter planet of optimism and joy and faith and trust and expansion and growth, and let's just more it all. And Cancer goes, I got you. I got you nurtured. I got you feeling safe. I got you knowing that you've got a home base you can come to when you're done with all that growing, and you can nurture all of that growth and let it actually expand in all the ways that you want it to. And Jupiter says, cool, I'm going to grow all over the place. I'm going to do all sorts of things that make you have irrational optimism. And that's been the vibe since June 9th of 2025 and will be until June 25th of 2026. And if you're like, I like irrational optimism, take a look at where Cancer is in your natal chart. That house, that part of your life, that's the where, because remember, the planet is the what, the sign is the how, the house is the where. Where you have Cancer in your natal chart, you've already for months had this irrational optimism, and you will continue to through June of 2026. Then we move into Leo and get that whole like, yes, let's get every sign, every planet, let's get every planet over here into this whole hot air situation. Hot air, because fire, air, it's going to be heat. And it's going to be whip, whip, whip. Jupiter retrograde dates Jupiter retrograde as we start the year until March 10th of 2026. And so Jupiter is going to stay retrograde as enters 2026. We're doing inner work. How can I trust? How can I expand internally? How can I have faith and irrational optimism around how I can grow and I can expand? This is a time when we're dealing with sort of upper limit problems. So check that, because that's going on right now. The retrograde ends March 10th of 2026. We get another retrograde experience in 2026 for Jupiter, but not until December 12th. So almost the whole year is going to feel not retrograde once we get past the current retrograde of March 10th. But Jupiter will retrograde from December 12th of 2026 into April of 2027. No out of bounds dates for Jupiter. If you would like to track when Jupiter was last in Cancer, because Jupiter moves fast compared to the planets we've been talking about, it's about a year in each sign. Jupiter was last in Cancer from June of 2013 to July of 2014. And then Leo, where Jupiter is moving, last time Jupiter was there was in July of 2014 through August of 2015. So think back to what was going on then. What kind of patterns can you track with all that? Now, here's a thing that I talked about a little bit in our year ahead webinar that I want to go to my screen here to mention, because before we leave the outers and the socials, we've got some big specific events that I want you to mark on your calendar. The first one is on February the 20th of 2026. And I want you to notice that on February 20th of 2026, we get Neptune and Saturn conjunct at 0 degrees Aries. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. You're going to see it everywhere on socials if you haven't already been seeing it. I don't know. I haven't been on social. I mean, is YouTube socials? I don't know. I occasionally do a thing at Blue Ski. I know it's pronounced Blue Sky, but I say Blue Ski because it looks like Blue Ski. Yeah, I haven't really been on Instagram in a minute. And don't miss it at all. So you'll see everybody talking about this. The 0 degree Aries meetup is at something that's called the world point. The world point, so it is a cardinal sign, Aries, 0 degrees. This is the start of the chart, because you know the zodiac goes Aries to Pisces. And so no matter what your chart starts on with house 1 based on your rising, we look at that 0 degrees Aries as the world point. It is like, this is the Aries ingress is something that we measure in cities on different timelines to see like how certain events are going to go. It is a big deal. And this cardinal sign, Aries, world point, 0 degrees, is a meetup that can be world shifting. And so when we get this meetup of Neptune, stories we tell, the lies we tell, the showbiz that we do, the artistry, the creativity that we bring, the escapism that happens, the medicine that we surround ourselves with, the trips that we take, all of that mental, spiritual, like religious expansion kind of energy of that. Like, where are we on what timeline, in what dimension, meets up with Daddy Saturn. And Daddy Saturn says structure, order, discipline, boundaries, rules, just the basics. We get those together. What happens? What happens? I don't know. We're going to find out together. We're going to find out together. It's a reset. And it's a reset that I had looked up when was the last time that those two planets were at that degree and in time. And I'm gonna just search with DuckDuckGo here, and I'm gonna go Saturn. Let's pretend I can type Saturn, Neptune, Aries, 0 degrees, Aries. Let's see if I get a history. Ooh, AI. AI is trying to help me. No, thank you. Okay, you know what, AI? I'll let you help me for a second because this was interesting. Look at this. Auto-generated based on listed sources. Yep, that means, look at, we took information from you. Oh, they did list it off. That's nice, though. So, when has this happened in the past? In the past, when has this happened? Oh, there's lots of articles about this. This makes me really happy. Oh, I bet I could do it at AstroSeek, couldn't I? I love going to AstroSeek. Get ready. Lots of ads. Okay. So when will I want to go to, do I want to go to planetary cycles? I like planetary cycles. Let's go to Daddy Saturn. Yeah. Let's go to the next one. Because this is where we are in here. I may have gone down a rabbit hole that I don't have the ability to resolve for y'all. Maybe you know. When did Saturn, Neptune, conjunction Aries? Let's see. Nope, no such tool. I could do a Google search. I want a Google search. I want to know when. When. No. Y'all, I hate it when I get excited about something that I want to look up and then I can't find it. Thanks, menopause. You're so handy. Anyway, it's been a long time. I'll come back and put in the description the actual punchline to that. Sorry. Or maybe y'all know. Let me take a look. Let me take a look. Love my Pisces moon and how it fuels my creativity. I love it. Yes, 1996 to 1999, huge change. Those years were hellish, massive lessons learned around boundaries, note to self. February 26th is when Saturn goes into Aries. February 20th. Yeah, February 20th at 0 degrees. I need to look at what this means for my 0 degrees Aries lot of spirit. Yes, you do. You sure do. So y'all, I have on a piece of paper in the other room, and I'm tempted to go grab the piece of paper in the other room, how long it's been since Neptune and Aries have met up at the exact same sign, at the exact same 0 degrees of Aries. I'm so freaking tempted. I got to put it away. I'm going to put it in. I'll put it in the description. It'll be in the description. I will put when the last time it was that happened, because it's been a long time, but let's get on to it. So that's a date that you definitely want to note, that February 20th, big deal, that meetup. That's going to be something. We will maybe in the moment of it not be like, woo, there it was, like it's an earthquake, but it'll be like, okay, there's going to be a before and after here, faux show. The other date that I want you to put in your calendar, and I don't often take a look at Chiron, because mainly Chiron hadn't been discovered when my mom started doing astrology and I started learning at her feet, at her knees, at her lap. I was learning astrology alongside her. She'd come home from class and put things up on the chalkboard in the floor of the dining room, and there's the rust shag carpet that I would be on, and I would be drawing the little glyphs and characters and learning all the things, and Chiron wasn't one of the characters. But Chiron was discovered when it was in Taurus. And Chiron is going back to Taurus for the first time since Chiron was discovered. This is a big deal. When the planet goes back to the place where it was at its discovery, that is always worth noting, because the planet didn't exist in our world until that discovery. I know, it did. And also that experience of Chiron moving into Taurus is a big deal because it gives us some relief from all the things out there being in hot, airy signs. Because we've got Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, and then as of July of 2026, Jupiter, all going to be in either fire or air signs. And then Chiron is going to go, I'm done being in Aries. I've been in Aries for fuck ever. I'm going to move over now and be in Taurus. Whew. That is actually going to slow things down, cool things off, make things feel a little less agitaty and hectic and flamey when it comes to our wounds. Because Chiron is the planet, it's not a planet, it's a planetoid, that is the wounded healer. So when we do the planet is the what, the sign is the how, and the house is where it shows up in our lives, this planetoid, this comet that is Chiron, is our wounded healer. And moving into Taurus is going to change that focus, that healing focus, that I have wounds that once I deal with them, I can become a better healer. Focus to the Taurus part of our chart. So pay attention to that. That date for Chiron moving into Taurus, first time since discovered, is June 19th, 2026. That is a big deal. Okay. Another big deal before I get to the personal planets. Another big deal, nodal shift. So this is how we get our eclipses. The north node, south node, you know, those little thingies on your chart that look like buckets. So I always remind people that you can keep up with the south node as a bucket because it actually looks like a bucket. And there's a hole in the bucket, dear Eliza, dear Eliza. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Eliza, a hole. Yes, that bucket, that hole in the bucket south node. The south node is where we are getting an energy leakage. It is where in our natal chart we came in karmically with stuff. If you believe in past lives, it's stuff that you didn't finish dealing with wherever you came from before here, so you brought it in, you have to deal with it. If you don't believe in past lives, it's just the stuff that's easier for you to do, but it's not the best idea that you do. Samuel Reynolds, wonderful astrologer, talks about the south node as the dominant hand and the north node as the non-dominant hand. And as a lefty, I really like this metaphor because I am constantly having to figure out how to use things that are made for right-handed people that nobody even thinks about. Wow, how is that for left-handed people? It sucks! But we have to deal with it every freaking minute of every freaking day. We're the victim. No, we're not. But we have to adapt. We have to be creative. So that south node in transiting situation happens every year and a half, 18 and a half months between shifts on this axis. And so where we have this north node, south node axis is where we're getting our eclipses. So since January of 2025, we have been getting our eclipses in Pisces and Virgo on this axis. Bloom, 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 bloom. South node says drain, 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 drain of energy. North node says turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. So the nodes are going to shift axis in 2026 because it's been by summer of 2026 in the Northern Hemisphere. It's going to be 18 and a half months since they were in the sign before. That means it's time to change again, and we're going to do that relay race with the baton where we hand off who's got the baton during the eclipses. So what I mean by that is we're not going to have in 2026 two eclipses in the Pisces Virgo axis and then in the fall the shift into Aquarius Leo gives us the next two eclipses. Oh, no. We're going to do one of each and then one of each, and then all in 2027, we're going to have the Aquarius Leo axis. What does that mean? What that means is that our eclipses for, let me give you the dates. The nodal shift, very important. The nodal shift date, that happens on July 26th, and that will be the axis of Aquarius Leo until March, late March of 2028. So that's how long we're going to be on that axis. That's a while. That's a nice hearty amount of time there that we're going to be on that axis. But the eclipses, because we are going to do the relay race of one in one axis and one in the other axis twice in 2026, we have a solar eclipse in Aquarius on February 17th. We have a lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 3rd. This one is a big astro day. Oh my God, the astrology of March 3rd is wild. Holly and my husband Keith have this birthday shared, and it is going to be quite the solar return chart. We have a solar eclipse on August 12th in Leo and a lunar eclipse in Pisces on August 27th of 2026. All of that relay race back and forth baton thing is so we can have the experience of the axis finishing up what's happening on the Pisces Virgo tip and then moving into previewing the Aquarius Leo tip. So eclipses are those moments of before and after. We're going to do some unexpected things in these places. You always want to pay attention to the dates of those eclipses and the degrees if you have placements or planets in your natal chart in those zones. This is especially a note for my Virgo risings and Leo risings. I have Libra rising, so I went through this last nodal shift. When you have the South Node transiting your rising sign, your first house, it's a drain of energy, like physically. Like you go, why the fuck can I get out of bed? Where did all my energy go? I used to have the ability to get out there and make things happen. What has happened, and why is this 18 months of my life? Right now, Virgo risings are going through it. Also, I would say Virgo anywhere in your life car. So your sun, your moon, your rising, you're going through it. Virgo, that South Node is a drain of that energy. It will shift to Leo in July of 2026. In fact, July 26th of 2026, it will shift into Leo. So my Leo risings are going to start to feel that physical drain, that like, oh my God, it's taking me so much energy to be my effervescent, amazing, stellar self, because Leo is used to shining and having that light on ya. And it's going to feel like a lot of work to be on. It's like suddenly you go from being an extrovert to being an introvert. And if you were already an introvert, man, you're like, I do not like being peopled right now. So please be kind to yourself with that. I say especially because moon shit is always something we're extra sensitive to in life, because the moon is in our life car. We want to, especially with these eclipses, wall off some time and treat those as chart harmony blue and black days, meaning declutter for black and no people for blue. Just put a little buffer around those. I go in as soon as I'm doing the year ahead calendar for when you can schedule one-on-ones with me. I go in and put space around the eclipses, and I put space around the nodal shift, because those are just dates that seem to, and events that seem to feel extra on my system. I have a Cancer stellium, so it is moon ruled. And that is part of the reason I do it, but it's also because I just know that every client I have is also going to be going through it, and I want a little extra space to be able to take care of y'all and help you without it wringing me dry. Okay. So Mars is the next bit of news. Personal planets, Mars. No Mars retrograde in 2026. Praises be. Mars only retrogrades once every 2 years, but that means we do have Mars retrograde coming up in 2027. So just a little heads up. If you are a shadow person, like if you celebrate when Mercury retrograde shadow starts and ends, Mars retrograde shadow is actually going to start November 5th of 2026. It doesn't go retrograde until January 10th of 2027, but Mars got to do the most. So we're going to have Mars retrograde shadow at the end of 2026. And that shadow goes through June of 2027. Are you kidding me? Yeah, Mars will be not happy, retrograding like, whoa, pretty much the whole first quarter of 2027, and actually in shadow through the whole first half of 2027. So enjoy the break from Mars retrograde in 2026, because we will definitely get some Mars retrograde in 2027. We do have Mars out of bounds already, like right now. Mars went out of bounds November 27th of 2025 and will be out of bounds until January 4th of 2026. And Mars will also be out of bounds from August 2nd to August 28th of 2026. So after Mars leaves the no, that's 2027. Mars will only be out of bounds in 2026, not retrograde until 2027. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Mars also starts off the year 2026 in Capricorn, which is where he's in his Beyonce placement, so that's good. If, however, you're someone who has Mars not so happy in your chart, you may want to go to bonniegillespie.teachable.com/courses and check out If Mars Ain't Happy, which is my on-demand course for getting some Mars right in your life. That might be something that you want to do before Mars retrogrades in 2027, just to give you a little extra boost for Mars in your life. Venus, however, will retrograde in 2026. Venus retrogrades about once every 18 months, and it takes about 44 days. And if Venus retrograde is something that you want to celebrate with me, I have 44 days with Venus at that same link that I just mentioned, which is bonniegillespie.teachable.com/courses. Venus is retrograde in 2026, and that 44 days with Venus is chef's kiss, a beautiful way to have a daily unpacking of something to help you with love, money, enoughness, because that's what Venus is all about. Mars, all about action taking, motivation, moving things forward. Venus, all about love, money, enoughness, bringing it to me in a magnetic way. And I love turning that up. Venus is out of bounds from December 20th of 2025 until January 3rd of 2026, and then will be again out of bounds from May 4th to June 7th, 2026. And the retrograde dates for Venus in 2026 are October 3rd to November 13th. And if you celebrate the shadow, meaning you can actually feel that Venus retrograde starting before it starts, you will want to start protecting things August 31st of 2026 and through December 15th of 2026, because that will be the dates for shadow for that Venus retrogradity. Not a word, I know. Mercury retrograde, we get a lot of every year because Mercury is very consistent in the retrograding we get every year. All of the Mercury retrogrades for 2026, by the way, are in water signs. Mercury retrograde in water signs 3 times in 2026. Are you ready? Here are your dates. Mercury is how we communicate. Mercury is how we do little tech. So not like the big internet, not like outages of the entire world banking system technology. No, not like that. Not the cloud getting zapped. That's Uranus and Gemini action. Mercury is the kind of tech that's like my phone, my local tiki kind of tech, and then how I communicate and how I travel locally and deal with contracts and details and things that can easily get missed in communication. The retrograde dates are February 25th to March 30th in Pisces, June 29th to July 23rd in Cancer, and October 24th to November 13th in Scorpio. Water. Boom. The shadow period for each of those, if you would like to have the shadow period, shadow takes the first retrograde from February 11th to April 9th, the second one from June 12th to August 7th, and the third one from October 4th to November 30th. I don't really do Mercury retrograde shadow all that much, because once you try to block out your calendar for Mercury retrograde and shadow, like that's the year. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to be able to deal with Mercury. And I like Mercury retrograde. I find I'm able to get a lot more done while everybody else is kind of snagged and slowed down. But I've been working with it as my friend for a long time. If you have natal Mercury retrograde, you love it when Mercury retrogrades for everybody, because you're like, this is how I do communication. This is how my brain already works. Mercury also goes out of bounds thrice in 2026, and those dates are technically 2025, December 28th, 2025 to January 15th of 2026, then May 22nd to June 13th, and December 18th, 2026 to January 8th of 2027. Y'all, that's a lot. Oh, I had one more thing I want to show you. Yes, I did show this in my year ahead webinar, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I did end up going over an hour. I thought I wasn't gonna, and I did. I'm going to show you this cute little, I'm going to turn off what is displayed to only show you, let's see, Mercury, Venus, Neptune, and Pluto. I'm going to turn everything else off. Oh my gosh, that's like turning everything off. Okay, so on my cute little chart right here, you see currently we have Mercury and we have Venus and we have Pluto and we have Neptune. And this is how they are in relationship to one another. But when we go to August 10th of 2026, whoa, we get what's called a mystic rectangle. Let's see, can I get Mercury even closer? Show can. Look at that. Look at that. Woo, ain't she pretty? Look at that mystic rectangle. Dude. That is some pretty aspect pattern, right? So what we have here is Neptune at 4 degrees Aries and Pluto at 3 degrees Aquarius and Venus at 4 degrees Libra opposing that Neptune. And Neptune is a higher octave of Venus, so that relationship is very cute. And then we have Mercury at 2 degrees Leo opposing the 3 degrees Aquarius Pluto. Huh, look at that pretty. Look at that pretty, 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 pretty. Can I get it even closer before something falls out? Let's see. Can I? Can I? How close can I get? How close can I get? Look at just this whole day. I'm into it. I'm into it, y'all. What does it mean? So this relationship, this opposition of Pluto to Mercury is communication being looked at from a different point of view with that Pluto. How can we transform the way we communicate? How can we burn to the motherfucking ground the way, especially in Leo, we communicate? How can we take self-centered Leo, sun, masculine, patriarchal focused energy in how we communicate? And I encourage you to listen to things that are said as absolutes and notice, wow, that is a real cishet, straight, white, able-bodied Christian male POV. That is a big capitalist, billionaire, pasty white guy point of view. That is a ableist, heteronormative, gender stereotyped, rooted way of seeing the world and then communicating about it. Even if that's not your demographic, if that's not your makeup, and you've still learned a language that is, and practiced a language and been rewarded for a language that is very capitalist driven, that is very privileged driven, even if that very language oppresses you. So this opposition to me is yummy. Now we get a Mercury oppose Pluto opposition every year, so it's no big deal. Except in this transformation energy, having a sextile here between Pluto and Neptune and Mercury and Venus, and a trine between Venus and Pluto and Neptune and Mercury. All of that energy free flowing between all these guys during this opposition of how do we see the glamour of beauty, love, money, enoughness that is Venus, and that magnetism. When does it become a lie? When does it become AI? When does it become Facetune? When does it become all the filters? When does it become we're being lied to and we like it? We're building relationships with things that don't exist and calling them our friends. And well, there's not a huge jump from I made friends on the internet that I never met in real life to I made a friend that is the internet and we can never meet in real life because robot. That's an interesting question. And I think that this little situation on August 10th, August 11th is going to be something that we really notice the vibe of. And so those are things that I would put on the calendar for 2026. Did I give you enough? Do you need more? Do you want the Venus retrograde Cazimi is October 23rd of 2026. There's one more. Okay, y'all. What else do you need? That was a lot. How'd we do? Mars, Mercury, Virgo, Stellium, 7th house, Cap. Carla. Honey. Mars, Mercury, Venus, Stellium in 7th house, Cap. Got you. Yes. Got it. Sun, South Node, Mercury retrograde, and Mars in Capricorn for me, 8th house. Woo, Lisa. Come on now. Come on. I know. I over-deliver. Mercury retrograde, good for me most of the time, doing things again, especially. Right, Lisa? It's like the first time through, we get the test run. We get to go in and check it out. And then in the retrograde, we get the do-over that we rehearsed for. Oh, Lisa, by the way, I'm going to be on Andrea's and Ricky's podcast tomorrow. I'm going to be on Andy's podcast tomorrow, live stream. I think it's going to live stream. So they've started live streaming it instead of recording it on Zoom and then uploading it an hour later. So I think that's tomorrow. So I'll put a link to that in the description as well. But it made me think of you because, of course, you have been there doing your thing as well. And I love it. I love our world. I love our woo world. It's so great. What are y'all excited about? What date did you circle, highlight, put on your calendar with an asterisk? Tell me. I want to know. I want to celebrate you with that energy. I am so happy. I did it. And I didn't completely shut down with all the information. That's really good. Okay. Y'all come celebrate the new place I built. Come celebrate the new place that I have to give credit to my team. My team built. We will be adding more things there. Right now, there's just the webinar replay for the 2026 What the Woo. That will be there for you, available for free for most of 2026. I take it down at some point because, we're living in it. I mean, if it's still getting lots of traffic, I leave it up the whole year. But also I've moved over there our Aligned MCs, ongoing membership for Astrology for Creatives that Rachel Lang and I co-teach. And then Expansive Capacity, which is my mind-body mastermind that's been going on since it was in alpha and then beta. It was in alpha the summer of 2018. It went into beta in November of 2018 and then launched officially in January of 2019. I cannot believe how much we've done. Wow, so much. And then my JFDI with Bond, Biz Mastermind. If you have a little entrepreneur situation that you are running, if you're a creative entrepreneur and you would like my support with monthly small group masterminds, that is the one for you. And that is up there as well. That's been going since March of 2020 because it kicked off with a webinar on the 14th of March 2020 because I said, whoop, things are changing. We're going to need to talk about this. And I launched a pay what you can to be a part of this, please, pop-up course through June of 2020. And then starting with July 1st, 2020, we did ongoing masterminding and we have continued through all that. Got my account set up on the new site. Congrats on the new platform. Thank you, Carla. I appreciate it. You'll see we still obviously have stuff over at Teachable, but this new platform, learn.bonniegillespie.com, is where all of the Teachable stuff will eventually live as well. And I'm not afraid to say it. It's because Teachable just tried to charge our credit card. So glad we had not updated the number. We got a new card and didn't update the number, and that's why the charge didn't go through. And we got an alert that they tried to put through a $3,600 charge for something that we usually pay $1,400 a year for. So we decided, if you're going to come in and charge us that much without notice, you know what? Maybe what you already charge us anyway is too much. And so even if you go, oops, sorry, didn't mean it, we're not going up on you. You can go back to your $1,400 a year. We're going to go now. We're good. So we downgraded to a month-to-month account, unpublished like half the things that were at Teachable so that we could do the lower level account. And we're now just paying month to month while we get everything over to the new place. And then we're going to be like, peace out, Teachable. But we will keep it there for a few of the things that are offered there because there is money coming in there. And so as long as it covers what it costs to keep stuff there, we'll do it. But anyway, it's always something with these online platforms, you know. And as I ask myself questions about like what happens if there is no online platform ever again, that's all right. That's all right. I'll do stuff. I'll go sit on the porch and do readings for you as you come by. And if you want to do actor stuff, we can do some actor stuff. We can do some typing. We can do some self-management for actors from the porch as well. I've traveled in Mercury retrograde back to California from North Carolina and had the smoothest trip I could imagine, even with my 2 school-age kids back then. Lisa, that's amazing. Yes. You know, Mercury retrograde is a great time to retrace steps we've made in the past and come at them differently. I don't know, we get really scared of Mercury retrograde. We get really like, I don't know if I can do it. Is this my I Blame Mercury retrograde t-shirt? Oh, no. Oh, this is funny. This looks like my I Blame Mercury retrograde t-shirt, but it's just my t-shirt that says old. I tried to wear this and my body rejected it. My body rejected it. Good. Yes, Larimar, get into revisioning. That is so good. Y'all, revisioning, we did our kickoff meeting. Thank you for bringing that up, Larimar. I am so in love with our sweet little situation over here in revisioning. I mean, let me give you the link to that as well, because y'all, it is so good. It is so good. Here, you're gonna go here. Let me explain what it is. There, boom. Look for revisioning at that link. What is revisioning? So revisioning is this awesome, wonderful exploration that we started doing off the end of the Astrology Vision Board Party in 2023. I did the Astrology Vision Board Party in November of 2021, November of 2023, again in October of 2025. If you want the most recent one, it's available on demand and you have access to it as long as we have that space. I think that will also be coming over to revisioning so that can be ongoing relationship. After the Astrology Vision Board Party of 2023, we said, let's do an ongoing exploration of each of the signs and let's just dig deeper. And we spent the first year, Sagittarius through Scorpio, let's look at deeper information about each of these signs. What are the real nitty-gritty details about them all? And as each month goes, what can we highlight in your chart and what can we add to your vision board or take away from your vision board based on the sun visiting that part of your chart? Then in the second year, we decided to do decans, and we did elemental decans for each of the signs. And oh man, was that cool. That's an exploration of the different rulers of different degrees of each sign. And I have a live stream that I will link to in the description, as well as a very cute playlist at YouTube of decans that you might enjoy. Let me find it for you. Bonnie Gillespie decans. I have a decans playlist. Yes, I do. Here is the
starting with Aries.
Okay, no, don't play. Just give me the playlist. There in your chat is your playlist for decans. If you're like, I like elemental decans, I want to know what that's about, there you go. There's your playlist, starting with Aries and going through Pisces. Each sign is actually 3 signs. It's true. And then we're like, okay, we're coming up on year 3, Sagittarius season 2025. What are we going to do? And we decided to do body astrology. And so each month, each season, we're doing the astrology of that sign. And we decided to use the Sagittarius season meetup not to do the Sagittarius body, but instead to do ground rules. Like what is this going to be? Because body astrology and medical astrology and health astrology in general, big topic. How do we get to just what we want to get to so it's not overwhelming? This is my most accessibly priced offer. It is live each month. It is a deep dive, but not so deep that it's overwhelming. So how do we do a not overwhelming version of body astrology, going sign by sign by sign? And we came up with what that is going to look like. And I've been building all the parts of it since that meeting. And I'm so freaking excited because we are going to highlight each sun season what is it about that sign's body parts and the types of illnesses or supports that exist in your world, in your body, without it being medical astrology. How can we highlight and support all of those wonderful things sign by sign so that we have a more balanced physical experience while we're here in these temporary skin suits? So I'm glad you're going to be joining us, Laramma. That's going to be big fun. Yay. Awesome. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me for this long live stream about the woo weather of 2026. I hope you have enjoyed and found some takeaways that will make you very happy as you navigate the year ahead. In general, remember, one numerology. We're starting things. It's a whole new cycle. It's a cycle that goes from 2026 through 2035. That is going to be the 9-year cycle. So what do we want to begin collectively? And with all of those outers and Saturn and part of the time Jupiter being in those hot, airy signs, those air signs, fire signs, what kinds of actions, what kinds of assertive energy, what kinds of go do we want around all of those bigger picture things while we are doing things to take care of ourselves and move into, like, even the eclipse axis moving to Leo and Aquarius is moving into the fire and the air, and only Chiron moving into a feminine sign. It is like, and then of course the more personal planets will go through them all. Not Mars. Mars takes a little longer, but still, wow, that's just a lot of hot air. It's a lot of hot air. What do you want to do with that? What do you want to do with that? Because that drive can be good for something, just because it's been toxic doesn't mean that's the only option. Air and fire does not have to be the system that we know. It can be the best version of fire, the best version of air, the best expression of each of those. And don't be mad at yourself for believing in the best version of this world. Don't ever feel like that was wasted energy or a mistake. Okay? Yeah, thank you. Thank you, beautiful people. I love you all so much. Mwah. Really appreciate you being here. Thank you for telling your friends about my channel here at YouTube. We're trying to grow. Really appreciate you subscribing and liking and watching again and telling a friend to watch. Okay, gotta go. Bye, y'all. Take care. Thanks for joining me.